Hi everybody, this is Tom Tierney back here again in the Sony Music Archives, and today we're here to celebrate the career of the great singer-songwriter Carole King. Now, Carole King, as everybody knows, is one of the greatest three or four songwriters in the rock and roll era, with hundreds of hit songs to her credit, and also a long and successful recording career, as we can see here, with lots of great albums, the top of which, of course, is 1971's Tapestry, which is one of the greatest records ever made, and goes without saying, one of the top-selling records ever made. Now, Carole wrote dozens of hits in this, hundreds of hits in the 60s and 70s, but we're going to take an archival trip back a little farther than that. We're going to go into the Sony Music Library back to the 1950s and to one of Carole's first professional gigs. Now, RCA Victor, of course, is one of Sony Music's prime labels, and RCA has recording sheets which document all of the recording activities, and luckily because of that we have this document from June 9th, 1959, which documents a visit to RCA Studio B in New York City by Carole King, in which she recorded two sides of a 45 RPM single. The two songs she recorded that day were, of course, compositions by herself and her husband Gerry Goffin. The two songs were called Queen of the Beach and Short Mort. Short Mort was the A-side, but honestly, this single probably really didn't get enough airplay for it to matter. Short Mort is it's actually kind of great if you can find it on YouTube. Go listen to it. It's really fun. It's actually kind of an answer record to the Coasters' Charlie Brown, which had come out just a couple of months earlier in 1959. Here are the blue cards for that release. We can see here that it came out on July 7th, 1959, and was only in the catalog for about 6 months before it got deleted in February of 1960. Now, going back to our session sheet here, if you look at the personnel, the musicians who recorded on that date, you can see a guitar player by the name of Jerry Landis. Now, you students of rock and roll trivia out there will immediately recognize Jerry Landis as the pseudonym for a young rock and roller named Paul Simon. And if you don't believe me that Paul and Carole were there on that date in 1959 recording together, we have about 4 reels of photographic evidence taken on that day by RCA photographers in the RCA studio. Now, the photos themselves are really adorable. Pictures of the two budding young geniuses, Paul and Carole, who would go on to make so many pop masterpieces of their own. Some of them arguably even better than Short Mort. I am Tom Tierney. Thank you again for joining me here in the library. Go listen to some of these great Carole King records, and I will see you next time on LegacyRecordings.com.